Ready. I'm good to go.
Spawning here in the top right, hailing from Poland, none other than Bonyth as the red Protoss.
And down here in the bottom left, from Russia, Dewalt.
From Russia with a lot of love for this game. I mean, you'd have to think so, the amount of effort this guy pours into it. Blood, sweat, and tears. Maybe hoping to have a run at the ESL qualifiers one day, and making it through would be a pretty good achievement for this guy. Definitely think that's within his wheelhouse of ambition. He's certainly capable of doing it. Has a lot of contenders, though, in his way. Good opportunity for him to see where he stacks up against some of these really high-level Chinese players as well. Currently, though, in his way is his old-school rival and nemesis, Bonyth.
Yeah, and I mean, he's played against Bonyth so many times before. Hard to find something that's going to surprise him, right? For both players. Both players are going to have a hard time shocking the other one. Maybe they're going to pull out something that worked in the past, but it's PvP, and they've played thousands of games against each other. I mean, what can we expect here, Shun?
Well, but Dewalt definitely has the higher build order range. You can see he's actually sneaking out a Nexus first in game number 1 already. I mean, Dewalt is absolutely insane when it comes to the variations he's willing to use against Bonyth. It has paid off for him a lot. Bonyth is usually the kind of guy to play one gate tech, get his robo out as quickly as possible, get into those reavers, which is his staple. He's so good with his micro and his ability to trade. Even from a deficit, he can still claw himself into favorable positions. Dewalt, though, has a much wider, diverse build order variety, and he's already in game number 1, exemplifying that with this very quick Nexus, Sam.
Building the very quick Nexus here. Is there any way for Bonyth to punish right now? He gets in, he sees it second. He's already got the gateway down. No range started just yet. He's gonna feel the gas.
That's interesting
decision there.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, he just cross map on Radiant. Let's, remind the viewers, is 38-second rush distance at worker speed, ramp to ramp. So it is a little bit tricky for Bonyth to come here and punish this. Hasn't gone for a fast second gateway or anything. I'm not sure if he made a 14 Zealot. I don't necessarily believe he did. I think he skipped over that 14 Zealot. Yeah, and he's just going straight into Dragoon. There's a fast Zealot there for Dewalt on the other end of the stick, but he's going to need something in production with that gas being stolen. It's a nice adjustment from Bonyth. He's kind of allowing this to go unpunished for the time being, but going to slow down the tech timing of Dewalt, who will also have to invest in some cannons to hold the line in his natural.
Do you think that Bonyth, with the delay in the tech and then skipping the range, is he going to try and bust this with a Reaver? Really quick Reaver?
I mean, he could. I think he's more just going to apply pressure and lay siege to Dewalt here. I don't think he could necessarily bust Dewalt, but he has slowed down the tech significantly enough and has obviously a faster range timing that he could put on a lot of pressure and essentially lay siege to Dewalt, which might lead to a bust, but I don't necessarily think he's going to be adamant on necessarily breaking him and killing him. I don't think that's necessarily possible. I think it's just likely that he's going to use it as a way of pressuring Dewalt and trying to get some good value trades and outranging those cannons with the scarabs when it comes time to it.
Dewalt just finished his core. It's going to be a long time before he has the traditional DT or Templar with Storm to stop the Reaver push that's going to be coming in here. He's only got one cannon, 2 Dragoons going to come up here. I really expected there to be an extra cannon by now, but he didn't build that, and so he's just going to get broken open immediately. This is really getting scary for Dewalt. He loses a cannon 2 more times. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, this is really rough for Dewalt already off the bat. Needs to be careful of that Dragoon. Just one more punch combination would finish it off. Good micro thus far from Bonyth, already applying a lot of pressure, forcing out more and more cannons out of Dewalt as well. He's really taxing the economy of Dewalt by forcing these cannons early on. Trying to get away. He doesn't target the right Dragoon with his own, though. Might be able to just barely get out of there with that Dragoon's life. Has a third Dragoon now showing up to the party. Dewalt really lacking with the target fire. Hasn't yet identified that Dragoon. Finally does manage to eliminate it. And now his own Dragoon has fallen, and Bonyth will continue to apply pressure gradually with a Reaver soon to join the party within a minute.
Yeah, this Reaver is going to create a really serious problem from Dewalt, or for Dewalt, but I expected more of a cannon defense here. It seems like Dewalt was much more interested in just getting these gateways online and having a big count of Dragoons here in the natural as soon as possible. So he might be able to overwhelm Bonyth with the Dragoons as he comes forward here to harass these cannons at the front. This is an interesting adaptation from Dewalt. It almost cost him pretty big there, just losing the cannon so early, but getting these extra gateways online is going to give him more options here. He can try to run out and kill that Reaver rather than just sit here and wait for tech.
Yeah, there is technically a production advantage for Dewalt, but there will be 2 Reavers arriving just before that can fully come online. And the Dewalt's range has been a little bit delayed, so Bonyth has been able to get away with murder here. But there is now a lot of Dragoons for Dewalt, and range has just now finished. He's going to start to push out to that natural rally point location, try and force back Bonyth and prevent these Reavers from getting into good positions. That's some great Scarab connections to kick things off, though. Bonyth is always so good at these little tiny niche trades, and he's doing a great job of trying to bully back Dewalt with these Scarab connections. Only 1 Dragoon has fallen for Bonyth thus far. That's some great follow-up damage. He's now isolated these Dragoons from the rally point of Dewalt. He can use them to flank and maneuver around the backside of Bonyth, but also needs to be careful that Bonyth doesn't run him over.
Yeah, I mean, that first connection was brutal. Bonyth dropping as soon as he saw the Dragoons come running out. Now going to come forward here, try to hit one of these Reavers. Can he hit the other one? Going after the shuttle now. The shuttle taking some damage from the cannon. The cannon gets the kill on that. He's got to get the flank going here soon. Going to be able to catch a few rally Dragoons coming across the map, but his probes are in danger. The Reavers moving forward now. Can he actually get some shots, some phase disruptor shots on these Reavers and pick them off? One of them is very low, not able to get those connections here, and the probes are going to start to fall.
Yeah, he's putting a big clock on this expansion, trying to evacuate some of those probes now. Damage has already been done. Bonyth now slightly ahead in workers. Dewalt in a little bit of trouble. Going to be holding the high ground with the tech advantage of these Reavers. Bonyth is a little bit comfortable. Dewalt wants to pounce on this lower HP Reaver from the flank. We'll be able to take down one of them now with those reinforcing Dragoons from behind, trying to collapse onto this formation of Protoss infantry of Bonyth. That Reaver getting some great value though regardless, and the reinforcements of Bonyth keeping the hope alive of just breaking down this Russian right here, right now. And I think even with these reinforcements of Dewalt showing up on the high ground, I think Bonyth might have done it. This is absolutely crazy what we're seeing. The 12 Nexus still somehow getting punished at the 8-minute 30 mark. GG is called, and Bonyth with a very convincing win in game number 1.
As expected, they're breaking through with that Reaver tech. That's the plan all along for our boy Bonyth. Dewalt just not quite able to take that first engage. He definitely had the Dragoon advantage, but couldn't make it work and shut down that Reaver attack. Now we're jumping in here into game number 2.
Yeah, guys, this is absolutely wild stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's just jump straight into it, Zero. I want to see what happens between these guys. Game number 2 between Bonyth and Dewalt. Let's get it on. Spawning here in the top right. There's the blue Protoss, currently 1-0 down. Can he redeem himself? It's Dewalt.
End up in the top left with the first victory under his belt. Bonyth, the red Protoss player.
Map is Polestar, I believe. I don't even know what to say about these two. You can never really call it for sure. Bonyth is usually cool as a cucumber under pretty much whatever pressure you put him into. Dewalt, a little bit more on the emotional end of that spectrum. Sometimes a player like Bonyth will get under his skin, make him tilt a little bit. If he doesn't tilt and he plays his A game, though, I do think that Dewalt is more than capable of taking 2 games in a row off Bonyth. And we were saying before about his diverse build order range. He can keep it spicy, doing center 2 gate and what have you, fast DT, whatever he needs to do to obfuscate his build order range against someone like Bonyth can get him an easy win in this rock, paper, scissory mirror matchup.
See the experience really showing through there with Bonyth in that last game. Knowing the exact counter to that Nexus first from Dewalt. I felt like Dewalt had a pretty good adaptation, but again, the engage, that first engage that happened with the big Dragoon count of Dewalt versus those 2 Reavers certainly didn't go his way. Hopefully he can make some more further adjustments to that and handle the Reaver play from Bonyth a little bit cleaner. It's definitely going to be happening again. Lots of Reavers in this series for sure.
Yeah. One thing we have seen is that, you know, when Dewalt does try and go toe-to-toe with Bonyth by going straight into his own Reavers, almost always Bonyth out-trades him and just has that little bit of extra finesse with how he utilizes that Shuttle Reaver control. So we'll be feeling a little bit concerned for Dewalt if he does want to just try a straight-up build against Bonyth here. He's also getting a little bit of a scouting advantage. The probe of Dewalt down in the bottom left quadrant currently, and if Bonyth goes for that 14 Zealot, even actually with the Dragoon, he'll probably be able to stop that probe from getting in. So this is definitely a bit of an information advantage for Bonyth going forward.
So in PvP, in the Korean scene, building pylons, manor pylons in the mineral line, not too popular anymore. Is it still popular in the foreign scene? In
A little bit. You don't see it a lot, but you see it like 1 in 4 games when there's no 14 Zealot to do anything about it. You sometimes see it thrown down, yeah.
Oh, this is funny. Look at the probe being hidden here under the dome. Looks like Walt might see that. Oh, it's so close.
He's gonna see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, he does see it. If that was on move command, I was gonna say he might have walked right past it, but nope. He does manage to pick that up. No more scouting here for Bonyth because Dewalt doesn't get any.
Yeah, and Bonyth is going toe-to-toe with Dewalt now. They're both going for a 2-gate tech play. Nothing too crazy thus far. Both players more or less mirrored. Does kill the probe, but now taking a few extra shots onto his Dragoon as compensation for it. Luckily, there's a second Dragoon to buffer, and Dewalt does pull that back to make sure that he didn't get himself into a sticky situation. You have to really be dialed in to the timings of the rallied units to make sure you don't just start taking hits for free on your Dragoons. If you overstep your welcome even by a few inches on the screen. And these players have played against each other enough times. They've played PvP way more than the average Joe on the StarCraft ladder. So they've got it really dialed in how many inches they can take away from one another.
See here, Dewalt just 1 probe ahead, getting that mechanical advantage. But still, the tactical brilliance of Bonyth may be able to shine through. He's back here in his natural. If he's forced up the ramp, it can be a little difficult to come down, but 4 on 4. How's the target firing? Oh, it looks pretty good on either side. Both players get 1 Dragoon in trade and will back away from each other.
Yeah. I mean, we usually see Bonyth getting the better end of that kind of shenanigans, and Dewalt's a little bit taking a page out of Bonyth's book. That kind of trade is just the type of thing that Bonyth usually goes for. So it's nice to see the confidence still alive in Dewalt despite that game number 1 defeat. And maybe he can go into this second game strong, although seems Dewalt is playing safer by getting an observatory really early, whereas Bonyth is rushing right into that support bay for the faster Reavers. So technically a superior build order here for Bonyth. But I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing having observers early either. I mean, having good vision advantage and seeing exactly what your opponent is doing is a great play as well. Unfortunately, I do think this slightly favors Bonyth.
Yeah, Bonyth cut probes a little bit earlier than Dewalt as well. He's 3 probes behind.
Right.
He's got the faster Reaver, and he's gonna have, you know, totally unchecked Dragoon production, just hitting these Dragoon numbers the moment that they're ready. He's Dewalt actually continuing to make probes, so he's gonna try to get a Nexus out here pretty soon, I imagine. This is going to be a lot of pressure. That Reaver from Dewalt should be out in time to join this fight, but it might not have many Scarabs. The Scarabs make slightly slower than they can fire, and so just because he pops out in time doesn't mean he's going to have, you know, full ammunition to fight this next one.
Right, yeah, he'll have some backup from the utility of that Reaver in about 10 or 15 seconds, but there's a little razor-thin window here for Bonyth to start throwing some bricks through into Dewalt's face. Already finding one good Scarab connection. Dewalt is kind of forced to collapse onto this position and fight it. So far, that's a pretty good second Scarab as well from Bonyth, finding amazing connections. The Reaver has been softened up now, but with this fresh Reaver coming out from Dewalt, he should fight back Bonyth here. Like you were saying, hard to come down the ramps, and Bonyth kills the Observer. That's a huge pickup. Having the vision advantage in these kinds of skirmishes is very favoriting the player with the Observer. Target fires down that shuttle as well, does Bonyth. Micros back the shuttle, but loses it to the phase disruption shots of the Dragoons of Dewalt here, shuffling back that slugged out Reaver to the high ground to save it. Just one shot from falling. Keeping that alive is huge for Dewalt, and trade's going Dewalt's way.
Yeah, Dewalt dove really hard to get the Reaver kill on the side of Bonyth, or to get that shuttle kill. Could have gone very bad for him if the Reaver managed to hit the center of that pack, but he just barely kills off the shuttle and manages to make the trade. It was looking a bit dicey as Dewalt was coming down the ramp there, dropping the Reaver. You saw that Bonyth had the perfect surround. He was going to dive and kill that for sure, at least kill the shuttle, and he did so. And Dewalt had to make a very crazy move, dive down that ramp, barely managed to make it work, and now he can grab his Nexus. Things have kind of settled out here. Both players taking a relatively even trade, but Dewalt had those extra probes, and so he's going to be able to get this Nexus a little bit quicker, and he will be able to saturate it faster as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a tempo-based play from Bonyth. Now slightly higher economy here for Dewalt. Finding some good connections, though, is Bonyth still targeting the Dragoon that's slightly far away to guarantee a good hit on the Dragoon on the periphery. Bonyth always with pretty exceptional target firing, especially with those Scarabs in particular. I mean, still Bonyth, I'd never want to count this guy out, no matter how far behind he is. 5 probes, 10 supply, like it is right now. Usually not a big deal for this guy to overcome with his control alone. And he always finds these little niggling skirmishes just when you're focused on your macro back at home. He's poking in with a Reaver, and like that, taking down the Reaver because of the slightly out of position shuttle of Dewalt, and already taking away half of the artillery power of this capable Russian. The shuttle is pretty low for Bonyth. Needs to be careful with that and hold the high ground. Maybe even just withdraw from this position. Dewalt could eliminate him if he stays here.
Ooh, this next round of units making its way to the front. Dragoons on the warpath now, heading over towards Bonyth's side of the map. Dewalt definitely hit that round of reinforcement and just decided to go forward knowing that he would have an advantage. Now, he's run back home with the shuttle to go ahead and pick up another Reaver, but at this moment, no Reavers here at the front. Dewalt has to retreat. He's getting caught on this doodad. He is going to lose a Dragoon, I think.
Yeah, he is. And the other one's softened up. This is 9 Dragoons for Dewalt to about 12 or so from for Bonyth to about 12 or so for Dewalt, with 2 Zealots now to also tank. So it's actually favoring Dewalt, but he's on the low ground and needs good target firing. Shuttle and Reaver quickly being eliminated on the Bonyth side of things, and the second Reaver too. Suddenly Dewalt surging forward with a massive supply lead and both utility advantage now that his Shuttle and Reavers are healthy in the sky. There is a slugged out Reaver for Bonyth trying to desperately get in a position to hold this natural, but I think with some good control here from Dewalt, he should better close out this game. Does take out the Shuttle of Dewalt, but it's not going to be enough. Reaver goes down for Bonyth and he has to tap out. GG is called, and Dewalt with a quick equalizer.
Wow, usually pushing up and fighting up a ramp like that is going to be bad for Dewalt, but Bonyth with that low HP Shuttle and Dewalt with some quick thinking dives on top of that, and he's able to take that fight up onto high ground. You can see the thinking from Bonyth for sure. Oh yeah, I can take this fight. I can drop my Reaver here, and if he tries to push up this high ground, I can take a good trade. But Dewalt flips the script. He gets that win. That was an intense match for sure. Definitely closer than the first one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and we're definitely going to have a real series on our hands. I don't know if we can call this series. I think it can go either way in game number 3, guys. I mean, this is what we expect from these two. It's kind of insane how it goes back and forth, and you never really can call it until that final game is played. And we're about to find out the conclusion to this series now. We're going to jump into game number 3 on Deja Vu. Spawning here in the top left, tying things up 1-1. It's Dewalt as the blue Protoss.
Down in bottom left, Bonyth, our red Protoss player.
So saying
What's
if
on
you
the
had
line
to place
here,
a bet. Well, I'm curious about where you would place your bets right now. If you had to pick one of these two contenders, where would your money be falling?
That's a tough question, man. I think